Hello, friends! Welcome back to episode 4 of Entr'acte with Julia. I'm Julia Choi, a violinist with the MET Orchestra, and you'll get to hear my talented colleagues speak about their lives. My guest today is none other than my great friend, Qianwen Shen, who is one of the most recently hired first violinists of the MET Orchestra. Angela is originally from Anhui, China. She pursued her dreams, and after attending Shanghai Conservatory of Music, as well as NEC and Manus, and the new World Symphony, she ultimately landed the job of her dreams. Wow! Now, without further ado, let's meet Angela. Hey Angela, it's so good to see you.
Hey,
Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm so happy we got a chance to do this, and I obviously know you pretty well by now because we spent so much time together last season, but I'm going to pretend I don't so that our friends and our audience members can know you a little bit today. So I had asked the listeners who they wanted to hear from next, and they mentioned that they wanted to hear from the most recently hired violinists, and that's me and you.
yeah,
And yeah, we joined the orchestra very recently in 2019, and it was pretty amazing to share all of these experiences this past season with you. And I know that this was your dream job from very early on, and it was mine too. So I'm so happy we got to where we are, and we have the best and most supportive colleagues and section, and I love being your stand partner. So we'll talk more in depth of these experiences together later on, but first, can you tell us about you and your upbringing and your background? Where were you born and raised, and where have you lived? And are your parents musicians? And when did you start your instrument, and how did you pick your instrument, or did someone pick it for you?
sure. First of all, hello everyone. I'm Qianwen Shen and Angela too. And thank you, Julia, for asking me to doing this interview. And I miss you so much
I
too.
miss you too.
Uh, I miss all our like everyday everyday schedule.
Yeah.
So I was born in Anhui, China. It's in the middle of China, and I moved to Shanghai when I was 9 years old for studying the violin music. My parents are both non-musician. My
Okay.
mom was an engineer, but she stopped working when I moved to Shanghai. So she came to Shanghai with me and just for taking care of me.
Wow, that's so cool. I mean, so much sacrifice goes into this with our parents. So, yeah, I had a similar experience with you. And what about your dad?
My father had his own company in my hometown at that time. So
Hmm.
my father came to Shanghai a few days every month to stay with me and my mom.
That's
Yeah.
so cool. Same with my dad, except for a couple of years in high school and middle school, but it was in Rhode Island. So it was a little closer, maybe. Anhui is right in the middle of Shanghai and Beijing, right?
Yes, in the middle. Yeah.
Okay,
Um.
cool.
Yeah. I
How about
really.
your instrument?
Oh my, the violin. Who picked the violin for me? I did. I did.
Oh, you did. Do you
Yeah.
have a story, or is
Yeah.
it just given to you, kind of?
Now there was one day my parents brought me a keyboard. I, that was one day at first. And they asked me if I want to learn the piano, and they asked me to try to just touch the keyboard, but I was so scared. I couldn't stop crying while I see the
What?
I saw the keyboard. I have no idea. I just started to crying.
Maybe
And
it was just too big and it looked like a monster to you or something.
maybe it's yeah, maybe it's too huge for little me. And
But how did that affect where you went with the violin?
and I told them, so I had in my father's bag, so I just told them that I don't want to learn the violin. I don't want to learn the piano. I want to learn the violin. I don't
Wow.
yeah, I don't even think I know what is the violin. I think I only heard the words from my parents a couple of times, but to see, oh, I want to learn violin.
That's so funny. That's so cute too. Okay, so you basically picked your own instrument. That's so great. And what is music education like in Beijing and Shanghai? And how is it different from your experiences at New England Conservatory, which is NEC, and Mannes School of Music, and the New World Symphony?
For the education in China at like that time, I think most of us were more focusing on the solo stuffs. We practice a lot, like skills and attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
So it gave me very strong base. Yeah.
Yeah.
And for the education here, I feel is more on the chamber music side, and I learned a lot, like how to listen to other people and how to listen to myself more here. Yeah. So I think
Wow.
both are very important.
For sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Both are very important because you need a very strong foundation in your
sure.
basics
Yeah.
so that you can make music with all these great people. So it was a great transition for you. That's awesome. And can you tell us a little bit more about your time at NEC and at Manus?
Sure. Um, I went to NEC after I graduated from Shanghai Conservatory. It's like kind of late because like all my friends came to here for bachelor's, start with bachelor. So I did my master and graduate diploma in NEC.
Okay.
Yeah, and the reason I choose NEC because Mr. Don Weiler's. Yeah,
Yeah, he's great. He has a very coveted studio, and all of his students are really amazing violinists and musicians. So I see what you mean by that.
I love him. I love like his playing. He's just like a great musician.
Hmm.
And I met him in a festival in Germany. So I met him there, and I feel like, oh, this is what I like want to. This is like who I want to study with.
Hmm.
So I applied and see, yeah, and I got in there. Very lucky. Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you also studied with David Chan,
Yes.
who's our concert master, one of our concert masters at the Met at Manus, right?
Yeah.
And
And
how's your time there?
yeah, and actually that was my reason to pick Manners too. And like I heard his recordings, and I
Hmm.
thought, yes, this is like I want to play like him, and yeah, decided to study with.
Yeah, everyone wants to play like him. He's such a great violinist and just an overall great person and musician. So, yeah, but he's such a great person, and I'm sure a really great teacher too.
Yeah, he's a very good teacher, and
Yeah.
I feel like both like Mr. Wilson and David are very like I love their passion um, for the music.
Yeah, that's great. So your time in NYC during your Manus days, during that time you went to a lot of operas, right?
Yeah, I
How
did.
many do you think you saw?
I about 30 that 2 years.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah,
so many. Do you think that this time period might have sparked your love for opera?
I think so. Yeah, I think that was the time I really like start to know what is opera and really like start to get very interested in opera and love opera. Yeah. My first opera, like the first opera I went to watch was Don Giovanni. And
Oh, that's so cool.
yeah, and a couple of days later, I went to watch the La Boheme, and I was like, kind of shocked at first time because I never see like a real opera like on stage like that. I only play a couple operas in the school. Um, also like I watch some video like online, but it's not like a real, like when you see everything's real on
Right.
big stage and on that hall, it just feel like, oh, it's amazing.
Definitely. I think, we don't get to play so many operas during school because it's such a big production and you have so many kinds of people involved, not just the orchestra. So it is really costly and takes a lot of money to put on a show. And I think that's why our experiences are so limited before we get to the actual thing.
Yeah,
So,
and my mom too. My mom love opera too. Like when she came to visit, I think 3 years before, and she came to five opera, I think, with me, and then we watched the magical flute during the Christmas. Yeah,
oh,
and
that's
then
so
we
nice.
yeah we were like, cause it's complete sold out, and I only got the standing room tickets, and then we stand there for like almost 1.5. I think that was a short word.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually, for opening night this past season, it was Porgy and Bess, and I actually wasn't scheduled to play on that show. So I had to stand because it was completely sold out, and I actually really luckily got those tickets. It was 4 hours, and I had to stand the whole time. So I looked like I was wearing this really nice jumpsuit, but I wore flip flops because I can't wear heels for 4 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
but it was totally worth it. And yeah,
yeah.
your parents must be so proud of you. And let's talk a little bit about your experiences at New World. For the non musicians listening today, New World Symphony is a fellowship program in one of America's orchestral academies based in Miami, Florida. And basically, every musician who is interested in auditioning for professional orchestras want to go there after college because you're granted fellowships of 3 years, and in which you are granted free housing and rent, and it's kind of the perfect segue for people who want to have the time to focus on their own practice while maintaining a social life, while getting a taste of what a professional orchestral job might entail in terms of scheduling. So I never went there myself, but my sister, who is a cellist, was a fellow there for 1 season, 1 year, and she recalls that it was one of her favorite, best years ever in her life. And there's a lot of self reflection and growth as a person and as a musician that you can do there, and lots of success stories, with all the different people with auditions and jobs. So Angela went there for 1 season. And so, what are some of the things that you feel you gained from your time at New World Symphony?
Yeah, the first thing I think um is very good for me is a professional orchestra. It's like a professional orchestra schedule. It gives me an idea if I really like this kind of life. If I have to play in professional orchestra for like rest of my life, I really love this kind of life, and it helped me to decide like I really want to this job. Yeah. So this is like the first thing I think really good for someone who is considering if they want to take the job for their future. And the second, um, they have different coaches from all the orchestras to come to New World Symphony to teach us and sometimes play with us.
Right.
Yeah, which is awesome. I feel like you can get all the different ideas from all the like great orchestras there. Yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely a great resource for all the things you would want, guidance in audition prep, and also just, you know, the schedule, this kind of rigorous schedule where you sometimes have doubles, right?
yeah.
And what's your typical day like in New World, if you could remember?
My typical day, wake up and then go to the house, the rehearsal. If I only have like single rehearsal, the rehearsals are at 10 and finish at 2, I think. It's three
Mm-hmm.
hours. Like normal orchestra, 3 hours rehearsal, and then after finish, I went to home, cook, and take a nap and back to the hall to practice. If I have double, I will stay in the hall and to get some lunch, and then after finish the afternoon's rehearsal, I went back and have some rest and come back to the hall to practice. Yeah,
To
basically.
practice, yeah, at night after. Wow, I mean, it's such a packed day. So it's not unlike, something that we do during the year. So that's really great that you had that experience. Yeah. Did you have another orchestral job before you started at the Met? This was your first job too, right?
Yeah, this is my first job. Yeah.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about what it was like for you to join the Met? Because you hadn't played many operas before, and mostly just a lot of symphonies, sort of like me. So, how was that for you to just kind of be thrown into the holy grail of US opera companies as your first job?
It feels crazy.
Yeah.
Still like a dream. I feel it's still like I couldn't.
Yeah.
I got in this.
Still feels like a dream, right?
Yeah,
Even
yeah,
if we're not playing right now. I mean, knock on wood, we will be there again, very shortly. So,
I hope so too. And I, yeah, you see, I barely play operas before, only like very few in the school. I remember the summer before I started job, I took the first half of the season's music about like 12 operas, and I
mhm.
look at them. I have no idea how to start with. It's too much. Each of them, I think, at least 50 pages, right? 50 pages to,
Yeah, I would say maybe 60 or more.
yeah, yeah,
The Porgy one was like 100 something
yeah.
pages. So, and that was the first one we had to learn. So, that was fun.
Yeah, and I just have no idea. And I started to ask my friends and my teacher in the orchestra, so they all told me to listen a lot. So I listen just every day. I think I listen about 10 times, at least 10 times for each of them.
Oh my God.
My day is like wake up, I turn on like operas recordings, and then it start, like while taking shower, while cooking, while eating, just like always with all the dramas.
Yeah, and also just operas are so long. On average, it's 3 hours, at least, right? On average, it's around 3 hours. So basically, when you wake up and you just turn it on, by the time one opera's over, it's already lunchtime. So,
Yeah,
and to learn 20 something, I think it was 25 this season.
yeah, about
That just takes up the whole summer, basically. Yeah, I totally agree. Listening is really important, though.
this.
So I was doing a lot of that also. What do you think is the most difficult part about playing in an opera?
Um, First thing is learning all the notes. It's super long. Yeah, it takes like more time to even play through it. Like you say, it's just like after I play through with the recording one time, it's almost like one day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
And it's
I
not easy to just learn all the notes. It takes a long time, especially the hard parts.
yeah,
You
some
just have to
parts are
repeat.
super hard. I feel like some parts are like very very hard and a little bit awkward to play too.
Yeah, especially in the first violin section. Not saying that the other sections are harder, but we do have the melody a lot of the time. So,
But I feel like beyond that, the freeness of the like finger and the differences of all the operas, like between Italian opera and French opera and Puccini and Verdi and all like this difference to really bring out the difference of the styles and characters are very hard. I think that's
yeah, for
also
sure.
the most important things. I feel.
Yeah, and you definitely have to do your research and know what's going on the stage and upstairs. So, you need to know what's going on and know what's happening in context and know if you're not the main line or if you're a supporting role. And because all of our actual practicing and the technique that goes into it is affected by what's actually happening in the story and the music.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, and especially when you switch it all the time, I think you have the same feeling like we have figure in the morning and then we like play the level one at night, and then the next day we have Mozart and those yeah.
yeah, oh my God. The switching was really hard because it's not like normal orchestras where you basically have one set program of um, 3 or 4 pieces, but within 1 hour and a half. So it's that kind of program for the entire week. So you only focus on those. But then in our job, at especially at the Met, we have 6 or 7 different operas going on in one week,
Okay.
right? Yeah. And even more sometimes. But basically, we do have 6 to 7 different shows a week. So, and it's always rotating so that it doesn't get boring, for the audience and redundant. So, yeah, I remember that being really challenging for me too. Do you
Mm-hmm.
remember what your most challenging day was in terms of, the combination of double shows? Because
Yeah.
on Saturdays we have matinee shows at 1 p.m. and then in the evening we have at 7:30 or 8 p.m. I
8
guess 8 p.m. on Saturdays. Yeah. And I remember doing a lot of those doubles and I think for me, I think you probably have the same answer, but for me the most exhausting combination was Porgy and Bess in the morning or in the afternoon and then Manon,
Yes,
right?
and
At
we
night.
live stream.
Yeah, especially if it's live streamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great operas, really great and really fun to play too. But if you have to play both on one day, it's a lot because there's so much repetition going on, in both operas, and it can be really long and exhausting.
I think Porgy was 3 hour and 40 minutes, kind of 45 minutes.
Yeah, close to 4 hours.
Yeah, and Mano was 4 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember we would start the opera at 1 and then get her out around 4. By the time you're in your apartment, it's like 4:30. And then all you have time for is like to just lie down on your bed for a couple minutes or hours and then have dinner and then go back. So it's very tiring sometimes.
Yeah, that days. All the doubles on Saturday, I feel
Yeah, Saturday is the hardest. I mean, for most people who aren't musicians, it's free day, like where you can rest. But for us, I mean, that's when all the normal people, I mean, not normal people, but all the non-musicians come to see us
yes,
because yeah. What was your most enjoyable opera so far in your first season?
very hard to pick, but if I have to pick, that would be Volzak.
Yeah, yeah, that was a really great one.
Yeah, like I'm very into second violin school music in general. I feel it's super romantic and super sensitive with a little bit like crazy and twist. I feel it's very interesting for me.
Yeah,
And I feel like that every time I play that piece, I can hear like more and more. And also the production was amazing and
yeah.
great. And Yannick, yeah, he has so like such passion.
Yeah, I mean it's always so great to play under him. So totally.
Also, I love Rosen Cavalier too. I know it's very long, but I every time play it, I get like super emotional.
Especially the trio when
Yeah,
the three
yeah,
ladies are singing
yeah.
together. That was my favorite part.
Too.
And we were spoiled with Simon Rattle too, and we just had really amazing conductors, and we're kind of spoiled in that way.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
for
that
sure.
with that one, at first they asked me to play stage band, but I said no.
And everyone thought you were crazy because okay, so for stage band, if you get asked to play in stage band, you always are supposed to say yes because it's
Because means you're lucky, right?
Yeah, it means you're lucky, won the lottery. You only have to stay for 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes of playing time. And you're backstage, you don't have to dress up. You can come in your sweatpants and no one will know. And you just play the banda part. You're the backup singers for what's happening on stage with the people with the instruments acting. So to say no to that means you really love Rosenkavalier. Because if you get asked to play that, you get paid the same as the people who are working downstairs in the pit for 4.5 hours. And it's not easy to play this opera either. So it's a really hard violin part. So just you not taking the stage band means you really love it. And
Yeah,
I'm actually really glad you did because we got to sit a lot together.
sure. And I think that was one of the most I want to play, like in the beginning of that season. Yeah,
Yeah,
that opera I really want to learn. I really want to play.
it's definitely on your checklist, your bucket list for operas that you wanted to play. And you got to play it already, and it was only your first season,
That
so
was
that's
very
pretty
fun.
great. Let's talk about auditions, our favorite. What was your audition journey like getting to the Met? I would love to know what your journey was like, and because everyone has a different journey, and maybe we can share these experiences with the listeners too, so that our friends can find it a little more relatable and we can give some sort of encouragement too.
Sure, sure. It wasn't very easy for me.
Me neither.
It's very hard. It took me like 4 years.
Same, yeah, around there.
Yeah, very long time.
Hmm.
My first audition actually was MET. That was the second one.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, I know this already, but I'm just pretending I don't know. But yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it was very lucky that I got in the semi round. Yeah, for my first audition. So I feel like first audition always
It's always a little lucky. Yeah, I can relate to that because my first audition ever was in Philadelphia in the Philly Orchestra, and I got to finals for that. No idea how,
was
still to this day. Beginner's luck. Um,
also like I feel like for the first audition, I didn't feel that kind of nervous.
yeah. You weren't
Like
if you don't expect
yeah,
something, it usually goes better.
yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and after that, I was stuck on the first run almost for 2 years. Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't get advanced to any of them, so I was really upset and really
Hmm.
depressed.
The first round is always the hardest to get out of to pass onto the semifinals because that's where they kind of weed everyone out. And if you don't play in tune or in time, or if they feel like you can't go on and you don't have a great sound or whatever, um, they it's just a really easy elimination process, I guess, for the panel. So yeah, it's really tough to get out of the first round for sure.
Yeah, um it was very hard for me. And towards the third year, I started to get in like I started to get advanced to some of them, and I finally got a trial of some of the extras, and yeah, but it's still not like so successful, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
It's kind of like you were going step by step through
yeah,
the rounds, right? And then so you were getting better and better at them. It's kind of like taking a test and like prepping for SATs kind of. I mean, maybe this is some people won't agree with me, but there's definitely a strategy and you need to know exactly what to do, to get through all of these. So it
yeah,
doesn't mean that, you're the best violinist if you win something. Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
yeah, I do. And like after the third year, I feel I almost want to give up. And I talked to my parents. They say if you feel like you're like exhausted, if you feel it like you're really not happy with your life, maybe you should just give up and pick another one.
Mm-hmm.
And I told myself, okay, I'll give myself 1 more year to see what's gonna happen. And yeah, that was
And look at you, and you got your dream job.
yeah. And
I'm so
like
proud of you, and for me too, because I had a similar experience too. It wasn't easy, and definitely wanted to give up a lot of times. But if you just keep showing up and doing it, it will happen. So all the people listening right now and needing some kind of encouragement, just keep going. You can do it.
I feel don't give up. Yeah, it's very hard when you didn't get advance or when you didn't win your audition and then you have another one coming very soon. It's very hard for at least for me to pick up my violin, to relearn all the things.
It's hard to stay motivated and positive. But I think mental health is really important during auditioning too. Well, I'm so glad you stuck with it because you're my stand partner now.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Do you remember our Met audition that day? Oh my goodness.
Yesterday. That was
Yeah.
yesterday.
You feel like it was yesterday? I mean, yeah, I can remember it just so vividly, but I had never met you before this day. I had heard about you doing really well in
I
auditions.
heard about you from all my
Bro, I'm just popular, just kidding. But yeah, that was it. I only heard about you, but I never met you. And it was a really high stress day and just high pressure situations like that in auditions. No one wants to talk to anyone else. You just want to focus on your own thing and be in your zone. But I remember when we were waiting for the results, I remember having a really nice conversation with you, waiting, and I was thinking, I can be friends with this girl.
and we sort of have the same experience in life and both in life and audition. That was very amazing.
Yeah, so I was really happy, to connect with you that way and realize that we had a lot in common. So, just going back to that day, I remember, I think there were 3 days of preliminary round. And then we didn't meet during that because I was on the first day and you were maybe on the second or third, right?
Maybe second, yeah.
Yeah, and then they cut it down from whatever the number was and to 12 people in the semifinals. I think 12. Might be wrong, but and then I know for sure there were 3 in the finals, me, you, and this other girl. I don't remember her name. And then it came down to the 2 of us. But then we had to play twice more. So they could make sure we were really, good enough. And I think, yeah, we played 4 times that day. And oh my God.
Day. Yeah.
And just to let people know, we were there without our phones. They took our phones away, so it could be completely fair. From 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. We left the Met at 6 p.m. and 8 a.m. was when we had to come in and pick our numbers. And it was such an exhausting day, but it worked out, right?
Yes. I remember the outside, you make sure you bring some food because you probably will stay there for a very long time.
Yeah. Bring food, bring a book or, whatever, because they're going to take all our phones and our tablets. I'm really glad that they do that though, because it does make me feel like it was a very fair environment and they couldn't see us. They didn't see us until we said hi after.
Yes, that is one thing I feel I really like is they have the screen audition from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
Whatever they add, super final, super final, but they just always keep the screen.
I remember I cried.
You did, yeah. I
was so emotional.
I feel I was so tired, so I I stopped to think anything, but after that I feel oh my God, it's did I win the audition?
Yeah, it just felt, I woke up, I couldn't sleep that night.
Yeah.
I was so excited. But I slept maybe 3 hours or something, and I woke up and I was like, is this I don't think this is real.
Yeah,
But it was.
yeah, it feels like okay. Did I take the audition yesterday?
We played a lot that day, so I feel like we earned our. We definitely earned it.
Very happy for like those few.
Me too. Do you have any tips for our friends listening for some audition advice? Maybe 3 to 5 tips on, how to practice excerpts or just practicing in general and managing your time or whatever like that.
Sure. Yeah, I do. I mean, for myself, I feel like that's very useful. Maybe like you can try. Um, First thing I think, listen to recording a lot and with like different recordings. So the one recordings for me, I think is very helpful, and that's from all the people like I asked them. They always told me like listen like a lot of recordings and
Hmm.
yeah. So I think that's very important. The second thing I think important is mental practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, which helped me a lot, especially when you're towards the end. You're not like learning the notes. I know from like the beginning, like all the excerpts I knew, then you need to learn. But like towards the end, I feel like mental practice is very very important. I mean, it's not like you sit there and memorize your notes. No, it's really like you imagine you're in an audition, how you will like move your arm, like how you're gonna use your muscle, your fingers, which is most, I think, most important things. And really like visualize you play with the whole orchestra or you're like conducting the whole orchestra. Yeah, I feel that's
Yeah. Because it's important to know everything in context and know, what's going on, not in not just your part, right?
yes for sure. And also I feel like everyone they cannot have their like schedule and routine for the auditions. For me, I think the best I found for me for myself is I can use like 1 month. Always start listen a lot first and then learn some excerpts I didn't know, and like after that I started to learn more like details of each one, and the, towards the end I started to mock audition a lot. Basically mock audition every day. Try to like pretend I'm going to an audition and play the concerto first and like 5 excerpts and record for myself. I listen and do another one, just like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have a really similar schedule to yours. I definitely didn't start that way when I first started auditioning because I just didn't know. And no one tells you all of this stuff unless you have a really great mentor, who is willing to share all of this information with you. But, a lot of people don't want to share it. So it's really important to have a schedule for yourself. Yeah, by the time you put in your years of
Yeah.
audition prep, you kind of have this repertoire list that you can kind of like go back and pick them from. So by the end, you'll only have a couple that you really need to learn starting from scratch. So yeah, I remember learning the new excerpts at first, and then working with the metronome and the tuner and all of that, and recording myself, and then having mock auditions too. And then mental health is really important too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, it's just really hard to stay positive and motivated when you have so many, I wouldn't call them failures, but stepping stones. And when you don't win something, it's so hard to stay excited about what's gonna happen next. So it's important to have kind of, your people that you rely on and, your friends that you can talk to and some way to relieve your stress too. So definitely talk to people if you need help.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I
what
remember that I did a lot of like stress eating and I
stress eating?
Yeah, ice cream I'll eat like a whole like
Oh my God, in one sitting?
in one sitting. Yeah,
How are
that
you so skinny?
but I'm sure everyone has their like stress relief ways.
Yeah, and how do you relieve your stress during, I mean, how did you during your auditions?
The first like, is stress eating, and then sometimes I ask my friend to go out for drink. One like get crazy about the excerpts, after the excerpts. Sometimes like towards like 10 p.m. and I feel like no way, I'm like gonna like I feel like dizzy and I couldn't like play anymore, and just ask my friend go out to drink.
Yeah, that's
Like
good.
I think meditate is very good way for sure.
Meditation, yeah.
Yeah, meditation, and I feel in general it helped me. Not like only for auditions, and also like working outside in the park helped me to clear.
Yeah, just going on walks and strolling. For me, I did a lot of yoga and I went to the gym a lot when I was auditioning because that was my only way to relieve stress and get out of the house, really. And not to just to have 1 hour where you're not thinking about
And,
violin is really important. So,
yeah, and then you really can concentrate on other things. I think yeah,
yeah.
anything you can not think about violin, just you concentrate on other things that will be help.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important. Um, okay, we have a really busy schedule, not right now, but during the season. How do you schedule learning your music? And also, how do you juggle and balance your work and life outside of work?
Do we have a life?
No, we don't. Because I mean, you're just so tired. When I hung out with friends or like went out and met new people, they would always ask, "What are your hobbies?" And that's my least favorite question because I always say, "You know what? I just don't have a life. I don't have any hobbies because, we're just working all the time." But
Yeah,
it is important to have hobbies
yeah.
and, you
Even
know,
there's one day off, I feel I just want to stay at home and then just want to get rest for the whole.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like the most like the first 3 years will be the most hard for us because we need to learn all the operas. All the operas are new for us, so
Yeah.
it will get better like after
I
that.
heard after 8 years it will be better. 8 years. So
Years,
we'll be like almost 40.
okay.
Great. When's the time to have a family or get married or whatever?
Yeah.
But people do it. So we have hope. Okay, so you just basically said we don't have a life. So, okay.
Why? Yeah, if
No, it's true.
yeah, if I have some time, I just go out, I hang out with friends,
Yeah.
relax, and yeah, eating. Yeah,
Yeah. You eat, breathe, sleep.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Um, do you have any funny stories so far in your first season?
Not that much, but there's one time my violin case, like the zip on my violin case was broken, so I couldn't open.
The zipper was broken? Oh
The case was too old. Yeah, and that was before Act 3 of World Symphony.
no.
Start a hard passage is very fast.
I don't think I was there that night. So,
Yeah,
what happened?
you would play the you would.
Oh, I think I was in the stage band, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened that night?
So I left the pit, tried to open it, but I just couldn't. And then I found someone to help me, the stage crew to help me, and they finally they opened it. Yeah.
That's so scary. I mean, right before you have to play too.
Yeah.
Well, good thing you got a new violin case.
After that, I'm like, I have to switch to another case.
Yeah, and you got the BAM case, the one that, a lot of people have.
Like yours, right? We have.
Yeah, I have one too, and you don't have to worry about zippers anymore because you have buckles on there. My funny story with you is that we actually had no idea that we were on the same floor of the same apartment
Yeah.
building until I reached out to you a couple of days before our first rehearsal. And so I don't think we spoke during the summer after our audition in May because,
Not that much.
so I reached out to you a couple of days before the rehearsal and we realized we live in the same building on the same floor. And so ever since we walked together to work every day and kept ourselves in check in terms of scheduling and all that. So that was really great.
That was really great, and I even remember like that I went to see your apartment, but and you went to see my apartment.
Yeah, because those were the two studios that were available at that time. But you chose yours and I chose mine, so it worked out. It's not like we were fighting over it. So, and then another funny story. We were playing Madame Butterfly, Puccini's opera, and there's this part where Pinkerton offers Sharpless a drink, and he goes, "Milk punch, oh whiskey." And we took that and went to town with it. We actually spent a whole day making milk punch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for people who don't know, because I had no idea what this drink was, I had never heard of it before, this. A couple of violinists pitched in too. I think Ben made a batch. We made a batch of milk punch, and he also brought some really nice Japanese whiskey, and I think Kat Fong also brought some really nice one. Um, and so we had both options. And we had a party after the show with both milk punch and some Japanese whiskey, and it was a really fun bonding experience with our orchestra. We invited everyone who wanted to come, and I don't know if we were allowed to do that, but we did. I mean, it was fun.
Oh, yeah, that was
It was after the show,
yeah.
and I hope we get to do more things like this in the future.
Yeah, that was very fun. I feel like
Yeah, it was really creative too.
relate the operas because there are a lot of drink and
Yeah,
on the stage.
for sure. What goes into milk punch again? Do you remember?
I think milk,
Milk, yeah. Milk and ramen vodka.
lemon milk, and tea, green tea or black tea,
Yeah.
and like lemons because they need sour things to.
Yeah, lemons, and then I think we might have used cloves and cinnamon sticks, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Ben used. Yeah, he made another like fancy ones. We
Yeah.
made ones.
But it takes a long time because you need a cheesecloth and you need to like mix it for a really long time
Yeah, and then because
and drain.
the milk will like curd.
Yeah.
And
Anyway, there are recipes online for people who want to try it.
it was to try.
It worked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's my favorite drink, but
Yeah.
it was fun. I would have it again. Yeah. What was your favorite performance so far in your time at the Met?
No, stage band was you in
Oh, stage band for which one?
Traviata was you.
That was definitely the lottery.
Yeah.
Like winning the lottery. Yeah, that was really fun.
Yeah, I feel it's always very fun to play with you because we're like.
Aw. Yeah, me too. I feel really comfortable playing with you, so it's really nice.
There's just a lot of performance I really love.
Yeah.
In my memories, like, it's too many. Like the opening night, Ogi, Toronto.
Oh, Turandot, yeah.
Um,
That one was a really great one too. I mean, everything's coming back into my head now.
Amazing, that stage.
Yeah. If you could be anything else, any other job in any other field, what would you be?
I think I want to open my own bakery.
That's so cool. I mean, I know you bake a lot and you are a really amazing baker for sure because I've eaten some of them. They're so good. And I could like if you make a whole batch, I could probably eat the whole thing. So it's better to not be next to you right now. But if you could open up a shop anywhere in the city, any neighborhood, without having to worry about, the money, where would you have it?
I think it will be in Greenwich Village.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like.
know that place very well.
I
But I need to go. Yeah.
it's
I mean, but now I regret it. And, because, especially because of the pandemic, we can't really go anywhere. And now, after this is over, I want to just explore the entire city. So,
we should go together. We should buy.
yeah, we should.
Yeah.
Um, your hobbies, do you have any hobbies other than cooking and baking? Because I know you bake a lot when you're stressed too.
I like to look the other people, and then
Oh, you mean like people watching?
yeah, people
Yeah,
watch.
that's really fun, especially on the subways and in New York City in general. There are some really interesting people, so
Yeah, and
totally.
then like just try to imagine their life.
Yeah, and figure out what their story and what their journey is like. It's really
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. And also the reason I want to open a bakery is like their life story and their happiness, their sadness.
Yeah,
That would be very
that's true. I mean, people who don't live in the city might not be able to relate, and they might be like, "Ooh, these people are so weird." So creepy, just checking people out on the street. But yeah, I mean, if you ever are in New York City, it's really fun to just see all the different kinds of people, and it's very inspiring too. What do you plan on doing in the summers when we have breaks?
when I have break. What I really want to do, one thing is spending time with my family.
Yeah.
I feel like um always not at home. Yeah,
Hmm.
like before I was in Shanghai and all the summers I was just focusing on practicing and then preparing for the competition while I was in Shanghai. But like here, like just I went to a lot of festivals during the summer, so I barely like spend time with my family. Go back to China and spend time with them. So like in my future, I really want to have like the time to stay with them and then travel, traveling with them.
That sounds really great. You haven't seen your parents in a really long time, right?
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years. Well, hopefully we can, you can see them soon too. Yeah. What are your aspirations and hopes 20 years from now? Some
Get
of them.
get married.
Get married. Wow. I mean, yes, but what are the top three characteristics you look for in a potential life partner?
Cute, cute, and cute.
Oh, just cute. You just have to be cute. That's it.
I just have to be cute.
That
Okay, that was kidding.
was a joke, right?
That was a joke.
Okay, good.
I think the first one is like has to be honest and trust. I feel
Hmm.
for any relationship that's the most important things for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the second is the sense of humor.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very important.
That's very important. Yeah. Sometimes I don't know like what to say, but like I want someone with the sense of humor.
Hmm.
And the third one is like hit it off like we can.
If you can hit it off and, connect, right?
Yes.
Nice. Well, for all the single guys listening out there, Angela is available, single, and ready to mingle. So if you are, trustworthy, funny, and you can connect with people, then send her a DM.
Yeah.
um,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Besides that, I really want to travel to the travel more. I would like to know more about the world and different cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also,
it would be fun to have someone to go with, right?
for sure. Yeah. And also, I want to be a volunteer for the animals. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I love animals.
Oh, you
Mhm.
can take care of a lot of dogs
And
and
that,
cats.
yeah,
Do you love living in New York City and exploring?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, what is your favorite part of the city or neighborhood?
Greenwich
Oh,
Village.
Greenwich Village again. If you could give yourself 10 years ago some advice, what would you say?
I would say give like yourself more patience.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think every everything will come at the right moment.
Yeah,
Push yourself too hard.
same thing for me. Everything that's supposed to happen will happen at the right time in the right place. So people who are in middle school and high school, just be patient.
And enjoy the moment. Enjoy your life.
Yeah. What have you been doing during quarantine? Did you pick up any new projects? And are you teaching?
Yeah, I do. I teach a little bit, not that much, but like I have some like project
Mm-hmm.
for the young kids music learning to like get their interest in music, and then like they want to like uh treat them the what is the teach what is the tune like rhythm notes like
Okay, so you're teaching them pitch and rhythm kind of
um
things. And
not
just sparking their
not
interest a little more in
yeah not
music.
like really teach them like the I want to is inspire them like
Okay.
the music and the picture. My cousin sister, she is working on some kids library, so she will like um, sometimes she tell like the kids the story. So I want to add some like music and relate some music or like
Cool.
some like opera with some part of it to give their like when you listen the story you have like some like pictures.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's awesome. And then I see a ukulele back there.
Yes,
Is that a new quarantine project?
yes, yeah. I Yeah.
We're gonna need a video of you playing it.
Okay, I'll send you later.
Okay. That's awesome.
And also, I'm learning Beethoven quartets. Yeah,
Okay.
maybe
Just
sugar.
to just for fun.
Yeah, just for fun. I just for fun.
That's really awesome. I mean, when else do you have all this time to do whatever you want? So you should do that. Exactly that. What do you miss most about playing at the Met?
Um, playing with all of you, and
Yeah.
with all of you, and like I what I really miss is like the energy in the house from the stage to the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And just connecting with the audience and just
yeah,
all the
yeah.
electricity there.
Yes.
Yeah, totally. Me too. We will be back. We will meet again.
Yes. We'll be back.
For sure. Okay, so now we have reached the lightning questions.
Yes.
Summer or winter?
Summer.
Sweet or salty?
None of them.
None of them. So what do you eat? Just like bland?
I eat very light.
Okay, fine. But if you had to choose one,
Salty.
salty. Okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast or brunch? I think brunch.
Oh, you like brunch the best. Okay. Yeah, you don't really eat breakfast. I remember now.
I'm now like morning person.
Yeah. Online shopping or in person?
In person. I don't have
Yep.
online shopping.
Oh, I do a lot of online shopping. It's really bad. It's very bad. Okay. Dogs or cats?
But this is hard. I think 60% dog and 40% cat.
Wow, good answer. For me, it's like 100% dog.
Like
Wine or cocktails or beer?
cocktails.
Ooh, what's your go-to drink?
Whiskey sour.
Ooh, okay. Red or white for wine?
Red.
City or suburbs?
City.
Chocolate or candy?
Chocolate.
Oh, yes.
Black chocolate.
So that's sweet.
But like black chocolate is not that sweet. I don't like.
Oh, you like dark chocolate.
Yeah,
Okay,
I dark chocolate.
got it. Jazz or pop?
Jazz.
Coffee or green tea?
Tea, not only green tea.
Oh, not only green tea, any kind of tea.
Yeah.
Over coffee. Wow. I didn't know that. Books or Netflix?
Books.
Cooking or taking out?
Cooking for sure.
Yeah. Homebody or outdoors?
Outdoors. I can stay.
Right.
Like I feel like I will get like.
Yeah.
That's
Okay. Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Cardio or yoga?
Cardio.
Okay. Morning person or night owl?
Well,
Definitely night owl. I don't even have to ask you. Yeah. Text message or call?
text message. But if
Okay.
you want to like know the person's first react, call.
Yeah. If you want to call her, she's available. Call me maybe. Yeah. Anyway, favorite site for tourists if you have friends or your parents coming to New York City?
Downtown, like the West Village,
West Village area. Okay. Favorite cuisine?
Japanese,
Mm,
Russian, like.
okay. Favorite opera?
This is no, I.
Oh, you can't answer this.
But like the most I want to play, the first I want to play is Entr'acte.
Ooh, okay. Good answer. That's really hard. Favorite coffee shop in New York City?
Irving Farm.
Irving Farm on 73rd Street, I think.
79.
No, 79th Street
I
and
know
Broadway.
yours.
What's mine?
La
La Colombe, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's in Philly for the most part.
Back to the Soho ones.
Yeah, there are a couple downtown, but I don't go downtown. I should stop saying that. I do go downtown, and I will go more. Where can people find you if they want to connect?
You can find me on Facebook.
Facebook and Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And I'll have that, but I still don't know how many underscores you have in between.
I think 4.
Yeah. So it's at Angela ____ S. Everyone.
I think so.
Okay. Well, Angela, I had so much fun talking about all these things with you and learning a little bit about you and your amazing life story, and, you know, to be reminded again of all your achievements to this day. And I'm so proud of you and for us to be where we are with our dream come true. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time and for sharing all these experiences with us. I'm so happy we're on this journey together.
Thank you for inviting me too. Nice to
Thank
see
you. So good to see you. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me on episode 4 of Entr'acte with Julia. I'm Julia Choi, and my guest today was Angela Shen, who is a violinist of the MET Orchestra. I hope you had a great time learning about Angela. You can connect with her on Facebook or on Instagram at Angela__S. Stay tuned for more conversations with my colleagues. If you made it this far, I would really, really appreciate it if you could leave me a review on Apple Podcasts. And hit the like and subscribe buttons wherever possible to show your support. Thank you so much for listening. Until next week, have a great week!